Hi, my spicy kids. This is the article, and I'm going to read it to you. Math Beyond School, Applications of Integers, Natasha Glyden. It is easy to recognize numbers in the real world. For example, highways have posted speed limits that are represented in numbers. People who have obtained a driver's license understand this system of numbers. They know that if the posted limit is 110 kilometers per hour and they drive 120 kilometers per hour, they could be fined. We see numbers on clocks and use them to understand time. There are numbers on doors and buildings that state identifications. Maps have numbers to give directions and information. Positive integers are included in the set of whole numbers 0, 1, 2, 3. It is relatively easy to see how positive integers affect the world. The implication of negative integers, however, may be less obvious. Going down. In general, negative numbers represent decreasing or downwards movement, or to the left in relation to the number line. If we are describing a car slowing down for a stop sign, its acceleration is represented with a negative value because its speed is decreasing. If you are digging a hole, your depth could be represented using negative integers. The thermometer. A common example of a negative integer usage is the thermometer. Thermometers are similar to number lines, but vertical. That means up and down. They have positive integers above 0 and negative integers below 0. Commonly, people recognize a temperature of negative 25 degrees Celsius as cold. People use the number system to measure and represent the temperature of the air. Also, if it's negative 23 degrees Celsius outside and the temperature drops 3 degrees, that means goes down 3 more. What is the temperature now? That would be negative 26. If we look at the picture of the thermometer, we know that the temperature drops, we look downwards on the thermometer. Hockey. Negative integers are commonly seen in sports as well. Consider hockey. Each line of players records a plus or minus. If the other team scores on your line, that is a minus. If someone on your line scores a goal, that is a plus. If neither team scores, the result is 0. Let's look at an example. During your time on the ice, you score a goal, +1. One of your line mates also scores a goal, another +1. However, in the last seconds of the game, a plus-minus score. Sorry, I skipped a line. However, in the last seconds of the game, a goal is scored against your team while you are on the ice, -1. Your plus-minus score would be +1 at the end of the game. However, during your next game, your line did not score throughout the entire game. That's a 0. And the other team scored twice on your line. That's -2. Your plus-minus score for this game would be -2. Similarly, plus-minus scores can even out to 0 if your line scores and is scored on an equal number of lines in a game. Consider that goal scoring is one of the most important elements of hockey. It is imperative that players understand this system of numbers. Altitude. Geographically, we represent sea levels with integers. Obviously, below sea level is represented with negative integers. For example, Death Valley, pictured below, is in California and is located at 86 meters below sea level. This can be represented numerically as -86 meters. Antarctica is 2,538 meters below sea level. That's -2,538. When geography specialists study the difference between, say, the top of Mount Everest in Tibet, which is 8,848 meters above sea level, and the bottom of the Dead Sea, which is 409 meters below, they use negative representation of integers. Banks. Finally, banks and credit unions frequently use negative integers. Negative integers can be used to represent debits, and positive integers represent credits. For example, let's say I deposit, that means put in, $100 into my personal bank account. My balance is then $100. If I buy 2 sweaters, I will need $40. If I buy both sweaters, my account will decrease $40. This is often represented as negative 40. My account balance is then at $60. I decide I also need a pair of jeans to go with my new sweaters, and I find a pair that I like for $65. If I buy the pants, my account balance will be negative $5. That means I didn't have enough money. It is easy to see how banks and credit unions use positive and negative integers to show whether their money is being put into an account or taken out of an account. Sometimes negative integers are used to represent the following English words: below, under, down, south, left, debit, ago. All right, guys, now what you're going to do is answer the questions on slide 6. You have a choice on how you want to answer them. You can handwrite them, type them up, or record a video of you explaining them. When you are finished, upload your work onto Google Classroom. Good luck!